Have you ever noticed how exhausting it can be to constantly prove yourself to others? How much of your life is quietly shaped by the desire to look successful, capable, impressive? And have you ever wondered what might happen if, one day, you simply stopped trying to impress everyone? Most people never ask that question seriously, because from the time we are young, we are taught something subtle but powerful. Be impressive. Get good grades so people admire you. Choose the right career so people respect you. Buy the right things so people believe you're doing well. Somewhere along the way, many people stop living for themselves and begin performing for an invisible audience. This is the story of a man named Marcus Bennett. Marcus lived in a busy city where success seemed to be measured by appearances. Nice clothes, a polished job title, an apartment that looked impressive when friends came over. From the outside, Marcus looked like someone whose life was moving in the right direction. He worked as a marketing manager for a growing company. He drove a leased car he could barely afford. His social media showed photos of rooftop dinners, business events, and carefully staged moments that suggested confidence and success. People often told him he was doing well. "You've got things figured out," a friend once said at a dinner party. Marcus smiled politely, but inside, something never felt settled. The truth was that Marcus spent an enormous amount of energy trying to maintain an image. He checked how others reacted to everything he said. He carefully chose clothes that looked successful. He avoided admitting mistakes because he didn't want anyone to think less of him. Even his goals began to feel strangely borrowed. He pursued promotions not because he loved the work, but because the title sounded impressive. He spent money on things he didn't truly value because they made him appear successful. Without realizing it, Marcus had quietly built a life around one question: what will people think? And that question followed him everywhere. At work, at social gatherings, even in quiet moments alone. One evening, after an exhausting week, Marcus attended a networking event downtown. It was the kind of event filled with polite smiles and carefully crafted conversations. People spoke about their achievements, their investments, their ambitious plans. Marcus played the role well. He spoke confidently about upcoming projects. He laughed at the right moments. He described his work with polished enthusiasm. But halfway through the evening, something strange happened. Marcus noticed a man sitting quietly at a table near the edge of the room. Unlike everyone else, the man wasn't trying to join conversations or introduce himself. He simply observed the room with a calm expression. Curious, Marcus eventually walked over. "Not much of a networking fan?" Marcus joked. The man smiled slightly. "I used to be," he said. They introduced themselves. The man's name was Daniel. Daniel was older, perhaps in his late 60s, with the relaxed demeanor of someone who had seen enough of life to stop rushing. Marcus asked what he did. Daniel shrugged gently. "I used to run a consulting firm. Now I mostly spend time reading, gardening, and helping my daughter with her small business." The answer surprised Marcus. "You're not trying to expand anything?" Marcus asked. "No new projects?" Daniel chuckled. "I spent 30 years expanding things," he said. "At some point I realized I had spent more time trying to impress people than actually enjoying my life." The words landed softly, but they stayed with Marcus. Trying to impress people. Marcus laughed politely and returned to the event. But that sentence echoed quietly in his mind. Later that night, as he drove home through the city lights, something uncomfortable began to surface. For the first time in years, Marcus asked himself an honest question. Who was he trying so hard to impress? The co-workers who barely noticed him unless he succeeded? The acquaintances who judged success through photos and titles? The strangers scrolling past his social media posts? The more he thought about it, the stranger it felt. So much of his life was built around people who were barely paying attention. Over the following weeks, Marcus began noticing something he had never clearly seen before. Many of the people around him were doing the same thing. They dressed to signal success. They spoke to sound intelligent. They worked to appear ambitious. Everyone was performing. And yet, very few people seemed genuinely happy. One afternoon, Marcus ran into Daniel again at a small coffee shop. They sat together by the window. Marcus admitted something he had rarely said out loud. "I think I've been living for other people's opinions," he said. Daniel nodded calmly. "That's one of the most common habits in the world," he replied. Marcus looked puzzled. "But how do you stop?" Daniel took a slow sip of coffee before answering. "You start by realizing something simple," he said. "Most people are too busy trying to impress others to spend much time judging you." Marcus blinked. Daniel continued. "Everyone thinks they are being watched, but most people are performing on their own little stage." That idea changed something inside Marcus. It was both unsettling and strangely freeing. Over the next few months, Marcus began making small changes. He stopped buying things just to appear successful. He reduced the number of social events he attended out of obligation. He began speaking more honestly at work, even when it meant admitting uncertainty. At first, it felt uncomfortable. For years, Marcus had carefully managed how people perceived him. Now he was slowly letting go of that control. But something unexpected began to happen. His days felt lighter. Without constantly measuring how others might react, he had more mental space, more energy, more clarity. He began spending evenings reading instead of scrolling through social media comparisons. He reconnected with hobbies he had abandoned years ago. He even started volunteering on weekends at a local community program that helped young entrepreneurs. For the first time in a long while, Marcus noticed something quietly returning to his life: curiosity. Instead of asking, "Will this impress people?" he began asking, "Do I actually enjoy this?" That single shift changed many decisions. Some of the things he once chased suddenly felt unnecessary. Some opportunities he once feared now seemed harmless to explore. Months passed. One evening, Marcus met Daniel again at the same coffee shop. Daniel studied Marcus with a thoughtful smile. "You seem calmer," he said. Marcus laughed. "I think I've stopped performing." Daniel nodded. Most people never realize how exhausting that performance is. Marcus looked out the window at people walking past. Business suits, phones in hand, serious expressions. For the first time, he felt a quiet compassion for them. He understood something now. Many people weren't living their lives, they were presenting their lives, and there is a big difference between the two. Marcus's career didn't collapse after he stopped trying to impress everyone. In fact, something interesting happened. His work improved, because instead of chasing recognition, he focused on solving real problems. Instead of speaking to sound impressive, he spoke to be clear. Instead of pretending confidence, he developed genuine understanding. People began to trust him more, not because he appeared perfect, but because he was honest. Years later, Marcus would often think back to that first conversation with Daniel, trying to impress people. Such a simple phrase. And yet it explained so much of modern life. We buy things to signal success. We say things to appear intelligent. We hide mistakes to protect our image. But the strange truth is this: the more you try to impress everyone, the less free you become. Because you are always performing, always adjusting, always measuring how others might react. But when you stop trying to impress everyone, something remarkable happens. You become harder to control. You stop chasing approval. You start choosing what actually matters to you. And slowly, quietly, your life becomes more honest, more peaceful, more your own. So if you ever feel tired of trying to prove yourself, if you ever feel exhausted by the invisible pressure to look successful, consider asking yourself one simple question. What would my life look like if I stopped trying to impress everyone? The answer might surprise you, because sometimes the moment you stop performing for the world is the moment you finally begin living for yourself. If this story resonated with you, take a moment to like the video and share your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoy thoughtful stories about life, growth, and the quiet lessons that shape our lives, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you for spending these moments with me, and I wish you clarity, courage, and a life that feels truly yours.